Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Stiltori, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last year or so, I've been featuring each Fille or King's daughter and getting to know their stories a little bit better. There are over 700 of them, so we have a long way to go. We're on actually episode 171, so I'm impressed that we've gotten this far, but we plan on doing all of them. So note to self, if there's one that you would like featured, let me know. Also, if you would like to know the ones we've done before, have a look at on my website, How Roots Will Travel. I have an index, an alphabetical index, and then further on, I have links to all of them as well. So check that out if you need to. And also ways that you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know, which is subscribe, like, and notify. Also, YouTube has just instituted or given me permission to do a super thanks based on the fact that I have achieved over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. So if you want to support the channel on a financial level, have a look at that. There's also Coffee, Etsy, and Patreon. These are all ways of showing your support. I want to reach out and thank all of you who have supported me thus far. Your appreciation and words and notes means so much to me. Thank you so much. So let's get started and get to know our Fille du Roi of this episode. So this Fille du Roi was actually requested first by a viewer. So thank you to the viewer for recommending. And then in my files, I have my the boy next door's wife. This is one of hers, and also Madonna descends from her as well. Those of you who don't know, I did a video on Madonna's ancestry and Fille du Roi ancestry in particular. So you can have a look at that video if you want. Let's get to know Francoise Lemoine a little bit better. So Francoise was born in 1645 in Paris, France. Her parents were Antoine Lemoine and Françoise de Longuemerlière. I got it. And the church that she would have been baptized in is l'Église Saint-Loup Saint-Gilles de Paris. This church actually houses the relics of the Empress Saint Helena, the mother of Constantine. It has housed it since 1819. This church dates from the 12th century and has a really historical, kind of background, as so many churches do. But this one in particular is quite amazing. It has been renovated many, many, many times, damaged by revolutions and that sort. It was badly damaged during the French Revolution. But certainly this is the place where Françoise would have had her very first baptism. Now, she was born, it is located in the first arrondissement of Paris, which is not now a residential area. It is actually also referred to as Le Louvre because the museum occupies so much of it. It is situated principally on the right bank of the River Seine. It's also included the west end of Ile de la Cité as well. It's one of the oldest areas in Paris, and actually the Ile de la Cité having been the heart of the city of Lutetia, which was conquered by the Romans in 52 BC, while some parts on the right bank date back to the early Middle Ages. And like I said, it's the least populated of the cities arrondissement and one of the smallest. A significant part of the area is occupied by the Louvre Museum and the Tuileries Gardens. The Forum des Halles is the largest shopping mall in Paris. Much of the remainder of the arrondissement is dedicated now to businesses and administration. So if you're, this is where you're kind of doing your pilgrimage, this would be not one that you would see housing necessarily in. So let's have a look at her journey. 20 years of age, she came on Le Jean-Baptiste de Dieppe on June 18th, 1665 is when she arrived. There's no mention of a dowry and no mention of parents' death, so we just know that perhaps she just got recruited and decided, hey, this is what I want to do. The groom that would eventually select her and who she selected, his name was Pierre-René Niquet, and he was born in 1642 in a town or commune called Brisambourg in France. It is, and his parents were Michel Niquet and Catherine Montis. I just want to show you that it is part of the Nouvelle-Aquitaine. It's part of the Charente-Maritime Département. And it's a very small village, and this is a church that he would have been baptized in, and a little sign that shows you what it looks like today. So she arrived in 1665, but her marriage did not take place until the following June. On the 15th of June, 1666, is when her and Pierre René would have been married at Cap de la Madeleine. So the family would settle at Trois-Rivières. Trois-Rivières is only the second settlement of New France. It was named Trois-Rivières because of the St. Maurice River that has three channels that form at the mouth of the St. Lawrence River. And you can see the three mouths on that picture. It was known as Three Rivers for a long time, just kind of giving it an Anglo version. But eventually, as the French kind of took back their province in the 60s and 70s, they really kind of clung to the name Trois-Rivières, which is what it is. And even when I was growing up, Three Rivers was what we as the English would call it, but my mother would call it Trois-Rivières. But now even the English call it Trois-Rivières because that's its official name. It also proved to be an important battle in the American Revolution, the Battle of Three Rivers. Some of you may have ancestors in this area and may be surprised at who would qualify for admission to the daughters or son of the American Revolution. Here we have a picture of Trois-Rivières, the way it looks right now. And I wanted to show you on the map where it is in relationship to Montreal, Quebec, right smack in the middle. And then in the 1666 census, we have Pierre and Francoise, just kind of newly married. By 1667, they have their first son, who is 7 months, and they have listed here 6 arpents valeurs, which is not too bad, about 4 acres of land, I would think. The family would eventually settle in Champlain. The Champlain municipality lies on the territory of the former seigneuries of Marsolet and l'Arbre-à-la-Croix. They were both granted in 1644, and the seigneury of Champlain was granted on 1664, so it kind of evolved. The first French occupants of Champlain settled in 1664-65. There had been a first attempt to settle in 1643, but there were too many Indian uprisings and threats. So by 1664-65, the first settlers established land here in the city. In the following year, in 1666, concessions were granted in the Seigneurie of Hertel, and in 1666 in the Seigneurie of Marsolet. Some of the first families that came from Trois-Rivières, such as the families of Antoine Desrosiers, Sorel, and Dandonné, are part of that migration. And certainly Niquet and Pierre-René Niquet and Françoise Lemoine were part of that. So you can see the church there. You can see where Champlain is. Just kind of kitty corner to Trois-Rivières, kind of up the river, if you will. And this is Notre-Dame de la Visitation, and when it was erected, 1684, and all the churches, the 4 churches that have been remodeled, if you will. You can see in the 1681 census, we have Pierre-René Niquet, 39, Françoise Lemoine, his wife, 36, their children, enfants, Marie is 13, Madeleine 10, Jean 8, Alexis 6, François 4, Pierre 2. They have 1 gun, they have 3 goats, and they have 30 arpents en land. They've been busy. So 30 arpents is about 25 acres of land. Amazing. Go on to have 11 children. Pierre would die before the 1681 census. Marie would marry Dominique Jutras and have 4 children, all of whom made it. She then married François Péliquet and had 4 children, 3 of whom would make it. Madeleine married Charles Marin and had 2 children, all of whom would make it. Jean married Marie-Angélique Pinard and had 2 children, both of whom would make it, before his early death at 30. Alexis married Marie-Françoise Giguère and had 1 child, who made it, before his early death at 29. François married Claude-Marie Miville before his early death at 33. Claude-Marie's mother was Marie-Catherine Bayon, who we featured in episode 21. So that's kind of neat. We're just kind of going back and forth. And then we have Pierre, who married Marie Lefebvre and had 2 children, one of whom made it. Marie-Angelique married Louis Hus and had 12 children, 9 of whom made it. Gertrude married Nicolas Cartier and had 9 children, all of whom made it. Marie-Thérèse married her brother-in-law, Jean Hus, and had 5 children, all of whom made it. Marie-Joseph married her brother-in-law, Jean-Baptiste Hood, but did not have any children. Just amazing. I mean, they had a small pool. There was no Facebook, right? So just amazing family. Pierre René would pass away first in 1722 at the age of 80. He and Francoise would have been married 57 years. Francoise herself would pass away 6 years later in 1728 at the remarkable age of 83. They would have 133 descendants by 1729. Just remarkable. So these are some of my resources that I use. I've put the links in the notes below. I want to talk to you about today about Migration. Migration is a free website. I do support them through PayPal. Love what they're doing, and they've been doing it for a long time. They have information about just really in depth about each Fille du Roi, Filles Mariées, the Carignan soldiers, the ships, just it goes on and on. Every time I go on that website, I literally lose myself. I keep clicking and then I read. I keep going here and there. Just amazing site. So check it out, please. So with that, we end episode 171. Francoise had a lovely life, I think. She was able to, stay married, and her husband survives, and they both lived to a very, very respectable age, even more than respectable age. So I love when the stories are like that. I mean, it's not as exciting as, bigamy or, Indian attacks, but amazing that they have an opportunity to really be able to live a life and, be one of the pioneers at Champlain and just kind of grow together and have their families. So with that, we thank Francoise for her longevity, for her commitment to her family, and for her dedication to being one of the Filles du Roi who truly survived, enduring so much. So we thank her, we bless her memory, and we are grateful that she came to our shores. Until I see you on episode 172, au revoir.